Now, with conflicting and changing health and nutrition science, many can be excused for not truly understanding what is good for their body or what is not, as navigating the world of healthy eating can be an absolute minefield. So in order for you to cross off some of the foods that shouldn't be on your plate, here is a list of the top 10 most dangerous foods in the world based on the latest science. Now, I want to know from each and every one of you, before you continue watching, what is the one food that you would absolutely put on this list? So let me know in the comments below. And as always, before we jump into the video, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO, organic acid, stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. Number 1 is bacon, and there are 4 main reasons why bacon is not good for you. Number 1 is that it is a refined processed meat that very frequently contains heterocyclic and polycyclic amines, which are chemicals that are produced when the bacon is cooked at high temperatures. It also often contains nitrites and nitrates, which are preservatives used to keep the bacon fresh. And bacon also contains hemine, which is the red pigment that occurs in most red meats. All of these substances can damage cells in your intestines and bowels and build up over time, which is why the World Health Organization classifies processed red meats like bacon as carcinogens. Number 2 of why bacon is not good for you is that it contains high amounts of saturated fats. So bacon is approximately 40% saturated fat, and if you know anything about saturated fats, then you will know that they are solid at room temperature. Now, most health organizations around the world recommend that no more than 5 to 6% of your calories come from saturated fats. So if you are someone who needs around 2,000 calories a day, then this would mean that you should eat below 120 calories of saturated fat. And just to give you some idea, 3 slices of bacon contains approximately 5 grams of saturated fat. The science is quite clear on saturated fats in that they put you at a significant increased risk of cardiovascular and also heart disease. The third reason that bacon is not good for you is that it has a high salt content in most situations. On average, bacon contains around 100 to 150 milligram of sodium per slice. The daily recommendations for salt are around 6 grams of salt per day, which is approximately 1 teaspoon. If a person consumes a high salt diet, then this can increase blood pressure, and increasing your blood pressure to high levels can put you in an increased risk of heart disease and also strokes. And the fourth main reason that bacon is not good for you, in which I touched upon in point 1, is that bacon usually contains a number of chemical additives. These chemicals puts them in the category of a class 1 carcinogen, which establishes cause and effect for cancers such as prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer and also breast cancer. The number 2 on this list is butter. Now, in 2014, an article appeared in the Annals of Internal Medicine titled Association of Dietary Circulating and Supplementary Fatty Acids with Coronary Risk. The article indicated from their findings that eating less saturated fat doesn't actually reduce a person's risk for heart disease. Obviously, the media picked this up and run with it, leading the New York Times and Time magazine, amongst others, to insinuate that butter should be back in people's diets. But the article in the Annals of Internal Medicine was a poorly constructed study pushed by the media, who often are writing articles to cause controversy. Now, you don't need to be a professor to know that saturated fats are bad in the body in high amounts. So butter contains around 51 grams of saturated fat per 100 grams. Butter also contains reasonable amounts of the omega-6 fatty acids, and if you don't have a good omega-3 to omega-6 ratio in the body, then this can drive inflammation. And inflammation is behind many leading diseases such as heart disease, strokes and also cancer. Number 3 is fizzy drinks, fruit juices and also soda. Now, most of you will probably know that sugary drinks can be very bad for the teeth, as they feed the bacteria in your mouth that produce certain acids that are very abrasive and can often start to dissolve your teeth. One of the biggest problems with sugary drinks, though, is that they contain a lot of calories and also a lot of empty calories that can encourage weight gain in a lot of people. And what increases in the body as the weight goes up? Your risk of heart and circulatory diseases, your risk of having high blood pressure, and also your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Sugary drinks also contain a lot of artificial sweeteners such as saccharin, acesulfame potassium and aspartame, preservatives such as benzoic and sorbic acid, and flavouring agents such as caffeine. Now, there is increasing concern from many scientists over the use of these preservatives and additives and their longer term implications for human health. Number 4 is dairy. Now, milk and dairy products are often the top sources of saturated fats in many Western type diets. As we have already discussed, saturated fats contribute towards high levels of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and also more frequently being linked to Alzheimer's disease. Beyond the saturated fats, we also have the elephant in the room, which is lactose intolerance. Babies and infants produce enzymes to break down lactose, found not only in cow's milk but also in breast milk. As we move past infancy, we lose the enzyme responsible for digesting lactose in dairy, and as a result, many people develop lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is very common, which affects up to 75% of certain populations around the world. It is therefore absurd that it is still considered a health food by many people today. If tomorrow I created a bar of chocolate and it caused digestive issues in approximately 75% of those who consumed it, then I would imagine it would be banned very quickly, but somehow upset stomachs, gas and bloating and diarrhea in large proportions of people is absolutely fine. Beyond the saturated fats and lactose intolerance in dairy, it is also heavily implicated in breast cancer in women. Number 5 on this list is an amalgamation of foods in what I will call baked goods, so think cakes, cookies, muffins, etc. Now, like most other foods on this list, eaten in isolation, they probably won't do too much harm, and this is the same with pastries, cookies and cakes, unless eaten in excess. Baked goods often contain a lot of refined sugars, refined wheat flour, added fats and also trans fats. They are often devoid of any real nutritional value, and they simply contain copious calories and often many different additives and preservatives. Now, there are many antimicrobial agents used in baked goods to stop molds, yeast and fungi growing on these foods. So for example, benzoates and sorbates are antimicrobials that work against fungi, yeast and some bacteria in baked goods. Now, there are many preservatives added to baked goods, and clearly if you are wanting a nice healthy digestive tract that is born out of a nice diverse range of bacteria in your microbiome, then eating a lot of foods that have an antimicrobial, antibacterial action is not particularly great. This can allow the proliferation of many unwanted bacteria in the gut that can cause everything from weight gain all the way through to cancer in certain situations. Number 6 on this list is alcohol. Now, most health organisations around the world now state that there is no safe limit of alcohol that can be drunk. It is a drug that causes death and destruction every single day around the world. This drug and drink causes motor accidents, suicide, murders, alcohol poisoning and many other problems. The longer term health implications of alcohol are also very well established. High blood pressure, heart disease, strokes, liver disease, digestive issues, cancer, mental health problems, poor immune function and so on. Number 7 on this list is red meat. Now, bacon was on this list because it is a highly processed refined meat, but red meats in general can cause longer term implications for many people's health. Red meats contain high amounts of saturated fat, heme iron, pathogenic bacteria, new 5GC, antibiotics, growth hormones, and also high amounts of protein. These have all been implicated in large prospective US and European cohort studies from meta-analysis of epidemiological studies. Cardiovascular disease, cancers, strokes, diabetes, and many other conditions have been associated when people consume higher amounts of red meats. Number 8 is pizza. Now, there are many healthy pizzas available, but unfortunately there are many people eating some really unhealthy pizza options. Most pizzas bought in supermarkets or fast food joints are loaded with calories, fat, sugar, and also sodium. So for example, a slice of Pizza Hut's pepperoni lovers pizza contains 460 calories, 26 grams of fat, and also 900 milligrams of sodium. Then on top of this, there is usually a whole host of unwanted additives and preservatives that include MSG, artificial colourings and high fructose corn syrup in many different countries. So when you add these types of calories and ingredients into a person's diet who is eating these types of foods on a regular basis, then you are getting increased calories, causing increased weight gain. You are then getting many diseases linked to increased weight, such as strokes, heart disease, cancer, and also type 2 diabetes. Number 9 is one that I wholeheartedly think should be banned, and that is sweetened breakfast cereals aimed at children. These types of cereals are very processed and use grains such as wheat, oats, rice, and also corn. The manufacturers then load the processed grains with added sugars and then heavily market them towards children based on action heroes and cartoon characters. These types of processed refined sugary foods are often setting up children for a future that contains a highly processed refined diet and all of the health implications that are associated with these foods. You have only got to look at child health today with dental problems, weight issues, diabetes and so on, and it's no wonder when children have access to such sugary foods. A serving of something like Kellogg's Cocoa Krispies contains 160 calories, 1 gram of saturated fat, 150 milligram of sodium, 15 grams of sugar and 2 grams of protein. So very little nutrition, no fibre, and quite frankly, these types of breakfast cereals should be banned. Number 10 on this list is any deep fried foods. This should be no real surprise for many of you, but most fried foods are high in fat, high in calories and devoid of any nutrition. One of the main issues with fried foods is that they often contain high levels of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs as they are commonly known. These are inflammatory compounds that form through the heating of animal foods to high temperatures. So just think of fried chicken, fried pork and many other fried animal foods. But don't think for 1 minute that plant-based fried foods are any less damaging. Whether it is fried plant-based sausages, burgers or any other foods, they are still often devoid of nutrition, high in calories, high in fat and so on. So whether you are frying animal foods or plant-based foods, then you are increasing your longer term risk factors for many of our leading causes of death. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out this one up here because I'm sure you'll find it equally interesting. And the only other thing that's left for me to say is to remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.